There are several key drivers for price spikes this week, and we'll discuss all of them in this two-part giant-sized edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now, you can pre-order Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles products, Secrets of Strixhaven products, or find a vast number of other great items on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look at the description or comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. As I said in the cold open, there are several factors impacting card prices this week, including the recent release of Lorwyn Eclipse, last week's Pro Tour results, the surge in popularity of the pre-modern format, Commander speculation based on the upcoming ban list update, and more. Due to all the activity this week, we have again divided the Market Watch into two parts. We'll be looking at one cold card and 37 hot cards. In part 1, we'll see that one cold card as well as the hot cards numbered 37 through 19, and then tomorrow in part 2, we'll feature the top 18 hottest cards of the week. As always, our lists are based on two pieces of criteria: the percentage change in the value of the cards, as well as the change in the number of sales from week to week. This week, in order for a card to be featured, it had to be moving at least 20% and at least $2 in either direction. Quickly before we get started though, just a couple fast things. I do want to say thank you to two viewers who gave Super Thanks tips last week, Swampy Boy and Todd Branch. Thank you both for your continuing support and your generous tips. It truly goes a long way and really helps me continue to do this, so thank you. And I also want to say thank you to one of our gold patrons, and that is Omar Rodriguez. Omar, thank you so much for everything, for being a long-term patron. Again, I could not do this without viewers like yourself. I truly appreciate the support. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. We'll begin with the coldest card of the week. Now, this week the market is red hot, and there's not many cards moving down. In fact, there was only one that met our criteria, so let's see what it is. Last week, this was number 14 on the hot list. This week, it's number 1 and the only card on the cold list, Vodalian Wave Knight. Down 265 to 710, that's a 27% decrease. This is from the March of the Machine Cavalry Charge Commander deck. It was moving up because of the Merfolk support that came from Lorwyn Eclipse, but the Merfolk creature type has been overshadowed by fairies and elves, which also appear in the new set. So this is retracting a little. Now it's time for part 1 of the top 37 hottest cards of the week. In this part, again, we'll be looking at numbers 37 through 19, and we'll return tomorrow for numbers 18 through 1. Let's jump in with number 37, Multani Marrow Sorcerer. This is up 206 to 1018. That is a 25% increase. This reserveless card is heating up because of its role in the pre-modern format, which continues to gain more popularity and more attention from both players and speculators every week. Multani is found in Reanimation and Elf builds there. Moving down 12 spots this week to number 36, Treefolk Harbinger, up 212 to 745. That's a 40% increase. This is an uncommon from Lorwyn that's never been reprinted, so I guess I'll get my one per video out of the way early. You may know that during this time period of Magic there was a recession in the game and less packs of Lorwyn as well as some other sets were cracked. Due to the lower supply, some of these cards that haven't been reprinted tend to spike when there's some attention on them. So why are people paying attention to this now? Lorwyn Eclipse focuses on several fantasy creature types, one of which is Treefolk. Commander decks that run this card, like the ones around Doran the Siege Tower and Fangorn Tree Shepherd, are getting better thanks to the new set. Plus, I'm seeing Treefolk Harbinger appearing in Commander builds around a new card from Lorwyn Eclipse. That's Doran Besieged by Time. Number 35, Kinsbale Border Guard, up 237 to 469. That's a 102% increase. This is a Morningtide rare that is yet to be reprinted, but since I already used my one per video, I'll spare you the spiel again. The spike here is the result of Kinsbale Border Guard getting more commander play thanks to the Kithkin support that came out of Lorwyn Eclipse. It is also appearing in decks around a legendary Kithkin from the new set. That's Brigid Clackhand's Heart / Brigand Doan's Mind. Moving down 11 spots this week to number 34, Treebeard Gracious Host. This is up 241 to 594. That's a 68% increase. This is from the Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth Food and Fellowship Commander deck. It has been seeing a fair amount of play as a commander and in the 99 of a few builds there, like the ones around the partner commanders from its precon, Frodo Adventurous Hobbit, and Sam Loyal Attendant. Now though, Treebeard Gracious Host is moving up for the same reasons as Treefolk Harbinger. Lorwyn Eclipsed has brought more support for Treefolk, and I'm seeing Treebeard showing up in commander builds around Doran Besieged by Time from there as well. Last week, this was number 13 on the cold list. This week it's number 33 on the hot list. Vibrance, up $243 to $13.99, that's a 21% increase. I have seen players trying this card out in multiple decks across several formats. A few examples include Pioneer 4-color midrange, 1v1 dual commander builds around Toph Greatest Earthbender from the Last Airbender Tea Time at the Jasmine Dragon Scene Box, and regular commander decks around the Wandering Minstrel. Additionally, many are picking up Vibrance to upgrade the Lorwyn Eclipse Dance of the Elements commander deck, while others are adding it to fresh builds around the front-facing commander from there, Ashling the Limitless. However, Standard is the format that's pushing Vibrance's price the most. It's appearing in several decks there, including the popular Temur, 4-color, and Izzet Elemental builds. In fact, that Izzet build made it to the semifinals last week at Pro Tour Lorwyn Eclipsed, which brought a lot of attention to this card. Number 32 is Strength Bobblehead, up $249 to $5, that's a 99% increase. This is from the Fallout Mutant Menace commander deck. It has been in a few commander builds, like the ones around Mr. House President and CEO, and the Wise Mothman from its precon, for example. This week, some players have started to receive their cards from the Fallout Secret Lair Rad Super Drop, which included the Fallout Rad Secret Lair. That one happens to include a copy of the Wise Mothman. That reprinting, along with renewed enthusiasm around Fallout cards in general because of the product, is pushing sales of Strength Bobblehead, which is already a scarce card. The result is the spike you see here. Number 31, Sandstone Needle, up $280 to $759, that's a 59% increase. This Mercadian Mask common has been getting a little play in 1v1 dual commander. It's in partner builds around Ikra Shadiki Usurper / Rograk Son of Roga. It's also found in regular commander decks around Rowan Scion of War and Krenko Mob Boss, for example, but it's the Pauper format that is pushing Sandstone Needle's price currently. It's a 4-of in the mana base of the Ruby Storm deck there. Coming in at number 30 is Superior Spider-Man, up $3.19 to $5.29, that's a 152% increase. This sees play in several formats. In Pioneer, it appears in builds like Sultai Scapeshift, Grixis Midrange, and Soulflayer. Over in Modern, you can see it in 5-color midrange. This has been appearing in 1v1 dual commander as well, in decks around Emid Selchun Sundered and Terra Magical Adept, for example. You see it in regular commander too, in builds around Cosmic Spider-Man. Recently, some players have been getting Superior Spider-Man as an upgrade to the Lorwyn Eclipse Dance of the Elements commander deck, while others have been putting it in fresh decks around Ashling the Limitless from there. However, the format pushing this price spike the most is Standard. Superior Spider-Man is another card feeling the impact of last week's Pro Tour results. It was found in 3 of the decks that made the top 8. One of those decks was 5-color Rhythm, the other 2 were both Dimir Excruciator builds, one of which came in first place. That result helped to spike Superior Spider-Man, but it's also in some other popular Standard decks too, like Sultai Reanimator, 4-color Reanimator, Sultai Elementals, Dimir Control, Grixis Reanimator, Esper Elementals, 4-color Elementals, Sultai Orboroid, and Sultai Self-Mill. Superior Spider-Man is definitely a card to keep an eye on. Number 29 is Twilight Diviner, up $336 to $539, that's a 166% increase. This new Lorwyn Eclipse card has seen some commander play right out of the gate. The 2 most popular builds playing it right now are around Marin of Clan Nel Toth and Tevel the Balanced Scale. However, that's not the reason this card is spiking. This week, the Asian Avenger featured a pretty cool Orzhov Standard deck built around Twilight Diviner on MTG Goldfish. At its heart, it's a sacrifice deck that runs this with copies of Timeline Color and Bloodghast. The build got a lot of attention, although we don't know yet if it will truly make a splash in the Standard meta. Time will tell, but for this week at least, Twilight Diviner is hot. Quickly before we get to number 28, just a fast reminder, this video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now, you can pre-order Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles products there. Also, Secrets of Strixhaven products are available for pre-order as well. Or you can find a whole bunch of other great items on their website, magic related and otherwise. Remember, if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the US. And if you're looking for a direct link to their site, just check out the description or the comment section below. I do have links posted in both of those places. And now, without any further ado, let's move on to number 28, Talion, the Kindly Lord, up 362 to 1595. That's a 29% increase. This does see play as a commander and in the 99 of several builds, like Y'shtola Knight's Blessed, for example. The spike here, though, is a result of the fairy support that came from Lorwyn Eclipsed. That set has bolstered Talion commander builds and other fairy-centric decks where this resides. It's also now appearing in the 99 of decks around a card from the new set. That's Marlin Fae Ascendant. Number 27, Sunbillow Verge, up 384 to 1482. That's a 35% increase. This is another card seeing play in multiple formats. In Pioneer, this is in Boros Hammer Time and Niv to Light. It also appears in 1v1 dual commander builds like the ones around Aragorn, King of Gondor, as well as the partner commanders Bruz Taro Borish Herder and Yoshimaru Ever Faithful, for example. Plus, Sunbillow Verge is in the mana bases of lots of regular commander decks like the ones built around Balin the Haymaker and Ragos Deaf Gastronaut, and it has been seeing more play in the format around a couple new cards. Sokka Tenacious Tactician from Avatar The Last Airbender, and Bree of Clan Stoutarm from Lorwyn Eclipsed. The real key driver again, though, is the standard format. There were 3 copies of Sunbillow Verge in the Jeskai Control deck that made the top 8 at last week's Pro Tour, and you see this in a bunch of other popular builds in the format like Boros Aggro, Boros Dragons, 4-color Control, Jeskai Artifacts, Boros Burn, Jeskai Self Bounce, Boros Manufacturing, Boros Mice, and Boros Tokens. Coming in at number 26, Sylvan Primordial, up 388 to 544. That's a 249% increase. On Monday, Wizards will be dropping their next commander update, and it sounds like there will be some changes to the ban list. Sylvan Primordial is currently banned in the format, but some are speculating that this may become unbanned, at least for higher tier commander decks. So copies are disappearing and prices are moving up. I guess we'll see what happens on Monday. Number 25, Well of Knowledge, up 394 to 894. That's a 79% increase. It must be 2021 again because this spike is the result of a good old-fashioned reserve list buyout. When copies are sold back to the marketplace, it will come back down. Number 24, Gloomlake Verge, up 410 to 1810. That's a 29% increase. This sometimes appears in modern builds like Esper Midrange or Merfolk, for example. You also see it in several 1v1 dual commander decks like the ones around Glarb Calamity's Augur and Tivit Seller of Secrets. Plus, Gloomlake Verge is a big mana-based card in regular commander, where it appears in builds around Y'shtola Knight's Blessed and Kess Dissonant Mage, for example. Recently, it's been in decks around Firelord Azula from Avatar The Last Airbender as well. Plus, I'm seeing some grabbing Gloomlake Verge to upgrade the Lorwyn Eclipse Dance of the Elements deck, while others have been putting it in fresh builds around Ashling the Limitless from there. Again though, the key driver for Gloomlake Verge's price spike this week is, say it with me now, Standard. This was in both of the Dimir Excruciator decks that made the top 8 of Pro Tour Lorwyn Eclipse last week, and like I said, one of those decks did win the whole thing. Gloomlake Verge appears in other popular standard builds too though, like Dimir Midrange, Sultai Reanimator, Esper Self Bounce, Dimir Control, 4-color Control, Sultai Elementals, Dimir Self Bounce, Dimir Fairies, Esper Midrange, and sometimes 4-color Reanimator. Number 23, Plunge into Darkness, up 434 to 1433. That's a 43% increase. This one-print wonder does see commander play and builds around Rowan Sign of War, but Plunge into Darkness has been hot recently because of its role in the modern Cosmogoyf Death Shadow decks. Honestly, I've been seeing less of those in the meta over the last couple weeks, so be careful with this one. If the deck doesn't start to take off soon, Plunge into Darkness may plunge back down. Number 22, Light from Within, up 469 to 969. That's a 94% increase. This is a rare from Eventide that is yet to be reprinted, but again, I already did my one per video, so I'll spare you the full explanation. Now you know this card is scarce, but why is it climbing? Recently it had seen more commander play and builds around Anti-Venom Horrifying Healer, but now I'm starting to see players use this in commander decks around a new card from Lorwyn Eclipse, Brigid Clackhand's Heart / Brigid Doan's Mind. Moving down one spot this week to number 21, Tyvar Kell. The list copy is up 235 to 999. That is a 31% increase. The one from Caltime's at $489 to $989, that's a 98% increase. And the Foundation's Jumpstart copy is at $530 to $1099, that's a 93% increase. This has been moving up because of the elf support that came out of Lorwyn Eclipsed. It has appeared in elf-centric commander decks like the ones around Lathril Blade of the Elves and Tyvar the Bellicose, for example, and those decks are better with the new elf support. Plus, Tyvar Kell is appearing in new commander builds around High Perfect Morcant and Marlin Fey Ascendant from Lorwyn Eclipsed. Number 20, back-to-back Tyvars, Tyvar the Bellicose. This is up 613 to 1163. That's a 112% increase. Similar story here as the previous card. This is a fairly popular commander, and it's been found in elf-centric builds like the ones around Lathril Blade of the Elves. The elf support from Lorwyn Eclipsed, of course, is pushing this price as well. Like Tyvar Kell, this Tyvar is also appearing in commander decks around both High Perfect Morcant and Marlin Fey Ascendant from Lorwyn Eclipsed. Number 19 is Sunderflock, up $7.06 to $8. That's a 751% increase if you're doing the math at home. First off, I've been seeing a lot of players picking this up in order to upgrade the Lorwyn Eclipse Dance of the Elements commander deck, while others have been putting it in fresh builds around a couple cards from there, Ashling the Limitless, and Massive Mysteries. However, again, Standard is playing a large role in this price spike. There were 4 copies of Sunderflock in the Izzet Elementals deck that made the top 8 of Pro Tour Lorwyn Eclipse last weekend, and this card's been appearing in several other popular Standard decks as well, like Izzet Spelementals, Sultai Elementals, 4-color Elementals, Temur Elementals, and Sultai Self-Mill. Alright, we're not done yet. We got 18 more cards to look at. We're going to do that tomorrow in part 2, so make sure you join us. Until then, hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.